It really has been my honor and pleasure to work with Ben Pinsky during this whole COVID pandemic. He's just done an amazing job of bringing up the COVID test and staying ahead of every challenge that has been thrown our way.
So Ben is really deserving of this award and really exemplified by his response to the COVID-19 pandemic. And Ben realized when the first paper came out in December 2019 from Charité Hospital in Berlin that based on what was happening in China, this was very likely going to be a problem here.
Dr. Pinsky brought up the COVID test, the PCR test, at a time when there really was very little access to testing in the area.
So he immediately set up the assay. It was ready in January. He started testing pooled patients from the blood center in February and discovered very early that the virus was circulating in our population. Unfortunately, he was then prevented from doing testing by the FDA.
The week before COVID really exploded into the Bay Area, Dr. Pinsky and I were on a site visit at Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. We were at dinner and he's on his phone the whole time just talking about COVID testing and the lab developed tests that he has developed and how he hopes the FDA or the CDC will approve the academic medical centers to begin testing. And I remember him being like a kid in a candy store, so excited to start offering this test. And then the very next week, he was able to offer the test, and it helped us grow as a significant partner to the community in COVID-19 response.
He had the vision to see that you had to be ready for COVID-19 testing long before anyone else saw that need coming. He deserves a lot of credit for his vision, his persistence, and rigor.
That let Stanford be the first hospital in Northern California to do testing, and we were essentially the only facility doing testing for a while.
So we started hearing from medical facilities about whether they could access our test. Within 3 days of having the test up and running, we were able to make it available to academic medical centers as well as other medical facilities across the greater Bay Area.
He has been able to grow the Stanford testing platform so we can test not only our own patients, but all of the community of the Bay Area and Northern California.
And then throughout that period, there were incredible challenges like failure of the supply chain. It was complete chaos inside the virology lab trying to cope with all of these things. And Ben managed this with a sense of humor. He worked with everyone to get through each successive crisis successfully. And it's just a model of how people at Stanford can come together, led by one individual, to really solve a tremendous challenge and very successfully.
During this whole pandemic, at one point, Alison Kerr arranged for us to just have a little fun together. And so she gave awards to each person who's been working during this COVID pandemic in the clinical lab. And Ben got the award of Donatello. And so a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle who is the scientist, and it just fits him perfectly. He really has been acting like a ninja in his ability to just pivot and deal with every challenge that comes his way.
Dr. Pinsky is very smart. He is very, very smart. He is he's always very well read, very concerned about public health, international public health. And he is he's very tough. He knows what he wants, and we also communicates very well as to how we can help support him.
Working with Ben is, even though it can be a really stressful situation, Ben has a great sense of humor. He has a great laugh. There's always some gallows humor to be found, and it helps you get through the day and basically have a good time getting through this crisis. So I just have to say it's just a pleasure to work with him, and he's brought so much to this effort.
Ben is an amazing colleague. He's just so passionate about his work, and he cares deeply about the quality of his work. He loves virology, and it's really contagious. And so he's able to attract amazing fellows to the microbiology program, and he's just a lot of fun to work with. He is always able to innovate, and when he has challenges that face him, instead of being discouraged, he actually finds it invigorating, and he really just pushes to be able to just keep doing the best that we can in the midst of this pandemic.
His work is enormously important asset to public health, and I am very honored to be working alongside of him.
And that continues to this day with this current surge in the pandemic. So it's just been great to see Ben really come to this crisis prepared and lead everyone through it. And I think he's very richly deserving of this award.
Thank you, Ben, for your foresight and commitment, and congratulations on this great award.